Alright everybody, Clash in Italy is officially in the books and we got a lot to talk about. So without any further ado, this is your internet wrestling champion and here is my review for WWE Clash in Italy 2026. Let's get into it. Alright, I'm going to start with the main event because that was by far the most important match on the card. It was Jacob Fatu versus Roman Reigns in tribal combat for the World Heavyweight Championship. So in this match, both men got a good number of offense on each other. It was a good back and forth for about 5 to 10 minutes. At some point, Roman Reigns actually gets the upper hand on Fatu and he takes the moment to start talking trash like typical tribal chief fashion. And he starts saying stuff like, "You think I'm making excuses? You think I need the turnbuckle to beat you?" And he actually goes and unbuckles the turnbuckle and exposes that steel end. But in that momentary distraction, when he turns around, Fatu hits him with the Samoan slam. So after getting the Samoan slam on Roman Reigns, Fatu goes in for the pin. And right at 2, Roman Reigns kicks out while simultaneously hitting Fatu with the low blow. From that moment on, it was all Roman Reigns. He takes Fatu's head and starts smashing it against the exposed turnbuckle repeatedly. And then he clips Fatu with a spear through the table. Now to Roman's surprise, Fatu almost no-sells the spear by getting back up, albeit with a lot of difficulty. You know, he's seeing stars. He looks like a Mortal Kombat character right before the fatality. And then Roman Reigns does his fatality and hits him with a second spear to put Fatu away clean-ish and defends successfully the World Heavyweight Championship. Now the real story here is actually what happens after the match. So Roman Reigns is standing in the middle of the ring, standing tall with the title in his hand, and that's when the Usos come out to acknowledge Roman Reigns in the middle of the ring and put the Ula Fala around his neck. So as the bloodline gets out of the ring and are about to walk up the ramp, Roman Reigns actually notices in the crowd is Solo Sikoa, Tongaloa, and Tama Tonga. The MFTs are in the crowd, just studying and observing closely. That's when Fatu gets back on his feet and exits the ring and looks at the MFTs momentarily before seemingly walking up the ramp with the OG bloodline. So we know tomorrow is when Fatu has to acknowledge Roman Reigns or leave the WWE, but now with the inclusion of the MFTs, or the re-inclusion, this makes for a pretty interesting storyline. We might have a second Civil War on our hands, or we're gonna have Jacob Fatu acknowledge Roman Reigns and beat up the MFTs, which I personally think is gonna happen. Overall, I'd give this match about a 3 out of 5. It wasn't spectacular, but it wasn't particularly bad. It was a solid match, but overall a 3 out of 5. And you'll be happy to know that your internet wrestling champion got this prediction right. Roman Reigns walked out victorious. Next up is arguably the second most important match on the card. It's Femi versus Brock Lesnar Part 2. Now this match picks up the ante immediately. So Femi turns around momentarily to take off his neck piece and give it to the ref, but Brock Lesnar was not giving him any leeway. He capitalizes on the brief distraction and hits Oba with 4 F5s consecutively, but does not get the win because Femi miraculously kicks out of all 4 F5s. At some point, the match spills out outside of the ring. Femi briefly gets some offense in and tears off the announcer's table's monitors, getting prepared to chokeslam Brock Lesnar through the table. However, Brock Lesnar reverses the chokeslam attempt, picks up Oba, and does a 6th F5 through the table. After the chokeslam, Brock Lesnar gets back into the ring and starts celebrating, thinking he's won this match by countout. However, while the referee hits 7, Femi just gets right back up as if nothing happened, no-sells the spot, and then runs back into the ring and gets again some more offense in. He hits all the signature moves on Brock Lesnar, and he's about to set him up with the fall from grace. And right as he does the fall from grace, Brock Lesnar actually reverses the fall from grace, picks up Femi, and hits a 7th F5 to put the ruler away and get the win over Femi. I'd give this match a 3 out of 5 as well. It wasn't spectacular, but it was high octane from bell to bell. There was a lot of back and forth and a lot of action going in. Brock Lesnar, however, did have the obvious upper hand throughout the match because he did capitalize on the distraction. I don't know how I feel about Femi losing. I was hoping they would just put Brock Lesnar away and they would move over Femi to a better storyline after this. But it seems like that's not the direction we're going in. There will be a rubber match, either in Night of Champion or at SummerSlam, so we're gonna have to wait and see how this story unfolds. Now we're on arguably the most disappointing and under-delivered match of the card. It was Cody Rhodes versus Gunther for the WWE Undisputed Championship. Now I would be remiss to say if this match even went 10 minutes. I don't even think it went that long. It was short, but not so sweet. Gunther had the upper hand for a majority of the match. He was clearly wearing down Cody Rhodes to set him up for the eventual sleeper hold. However, at some point in the match, Cody ends up getting some offense back in, and then he gets the Cody cutter in and gets the cross Rhodes to put him away just like that. I swear I went to the washroom for a second and came back and he had already won. I don't know what they were thinking with this match. Now immediately after Cody gets the pin, Gunther actually immediately gets up and he's fuming, you know, he's livid, and they show the replay and it shows that Gunther's leg was clearly under the rope during the 3 count. So I guess that's the angle they're going with. It was a quote-unquote false finish, and I guess they're gonna carry the storyline going into Night of Champions. I gotta be honest, when they played that replay back, his foot wasn't even under the rope when the referee hit 3. You know, they got the foot under the rope for the first 2 counts, but then his foot ends up getting lifted up and it's no longer under the ropes when he gets the 3 in. So I don't even know if that counts as a false finish. I guess that's the most interesting part of this story. It's not that interesting. I think it was pretty boring altogether. Let me know what you guys think though. Alright, I'm gonna briefly go over the last 2 matches because neither of them were particularly exciting to watch, and they both lasted like 10 minutes as well. All of these matches were really short. So the Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley match, it was a good back and forth for about 5 to 7 minutes before B-Fab and Michin make their interferences known. And as they're distracting Rhea Ripley, they actually get caught off guard by Charlotte, who was in the crowd, and she jumps off the barricade and hits the 2 with a splash, taking them out. And then Jade hits Rhea with a Jaded, capitalizing on the distraction. However, right as she's about to pick up the win, Charlotte picks up Rhea's foot and puts it on the rope to break the count. And as Jade is distracted by Charlotte, Rhea hits Jade with the Riptide and picks up the win, successfully defending her title. So finally, we have the Intercontinental Championship match between Becky Lynch and Sol Ruca. The whole story of this match was whether or not Sol Ruca could stick the landing and actually hit the Soul Snatcher on Becky. Now, throughout the match, it's pretty back and forth. Becky Lynch is doing a bunch of heelish underhanded stuff, arguing with the referee like she has been for the last 8 months or so. And at one point, she gets a little overzealous and arrogant and tries to do the Soul Snatcher herself, but fails miserably. And then that's when Sol Ruca capitalizes and hits Becky Lynch with the Soul Snatcher and picks up the win. So we have a new Intercontinental Champion in Sol Ruca. Congratulations to her. I'm happy to see her beat Becky clean this time. And I'm happy I got my prediction right. You know, I want to see where Becky Lynch goes from here on out, because she's been in the mid-card title scene for over a year now. So I'd really like to see her go back into the World Heavyweight Championship picture. And it would make for a pretty good story, because it was actually Becky Lynch that Liv Morgan beat for the World Heavyweight Championship when she won it the first time. So there you have it, guys. That has been my review for Clash in Italy. I know it's short. I know there isn't much to say, but there wasn't much substance to this pay-per-view. I think it was a bit of a wasted potential in my opinion. All the matches went 5 to 10 minutes except for the tribal combat. That went maybe 20 minutes. It was really, really short. But let me know what you guys think. Did you like Clash in Italy? Do you think it was a failure, or do you think it delivered? I'd like to hear your comments in the comment section below. And until next time, this has been your Internet Wrestling Champion, and I'll catch you on the next one.